श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं वातरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुकारो अन्धकारो वैरुकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवांसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यतायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः We are studying Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad along with the kārikā. Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is one of the smallest Upanishads among other Upanishads. Upanishads believe, switch off the speaker, Om Tat Savidur. So, Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is the smallest Upanishads among all Upanishads. The very word Upanishad, I always used to give the meaning of the word Upanishad, A knowledge which help the individual to come out of the sorrows and grief. A knowledge which make the person immediately to be free from all kinds of limitations. Limitations like body, gender, or limitations like I'm not having the strength to survive some situation. I'm not capable to go through my life. I'm not having the capacities and faculties like others having. All these thoughts are my limitations, because all are body-centered. I am this body. From that only all these thoughts arise. So Upanishad is a knowledge which is there in the Vedas in the last portion. So that knowledge will help the person to come out of all kinds of worst situations of the life. A knowledge which help the person to stand independent without depending even the vital air which you breathe for surviving. A knowledge which help you to be free from all kinds of limitations. That's the word Upanishad, that knowledge, that great almighty knowledge. A knowledge which cannot be accomplished by reading some textbooks. That is why the word upa is also enjoined in that very word upa. You should listen this knowledge from a right person. There is no religious barricades in this Upanishadic teaching or listening, because it's not a religious talk like others used to have that, It's not a religious talk. It's talking about the reality of the it's talking about the reality of the individual. There will be a blinking, That's what, Okay. Reality of the individual. Still it is there, but fine. We'll see. Reality of the individual. The truth of the individual. When I say individual, we have already some identification regarding our own individuality. Like I am a female, I am a male, I have 6 feet tall or 5 feet tall. I have a black mole in the left arm. I have a red mole in my left ear. Something like that. That individual factors will guide me to reach I am a body. So we are all confirmed with our own individuality that is identified in the body. So we think that individuality means a body-centered knowledge. It's not true. Transcending the body knowledge through a unique knowledge, which is not presented by anywhere or any means. You cannot assume, you cannot infer, you cannot resemble, cannot give an example. So a knowledge which is unique is presented about oneself in the last portions of Vedas. That portion is called Veda Antaha, Vedanta, Vedasya Andabhaga. So, Upanishad. People get confused what is meant by Upanishad and what is meant by Vedanta. Both are the same. It's only a synonymous. A knowledge which is unique, talking about the individual identity. A knowledge which talks about the truth of the creation and the created. A knowledge which talks about the limitlessness of one's own individual, one's own limitlessness of one's own identity. This is what Upanishad. And Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is one among them. It appears in Atharva Veda. Let me confirm. Atharva or Sama, let me confirm. It is there. I just... there are 4 Vedas and Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is Atharva Veda. We have 4 Vedas. Rig Veda, fundamental scriptures of India. If you ask, the Vedas means like a religion have Bible and another religion have Quran, like India have traditional scriptures for Hindus, which is not a religious book. There is no religion for Vedas. And Māṇḍūkya Upanishad reveals what is called Om. Why these three states occurring in one's own human body? Waking state, which we are listening now, the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Dream state, where we enjoy different things which we can't enjoy in our waking state. And a deep sleep state, where there is no identity about oneself or the world or nothing. I am not aware of my new chappals. I am not aware of my puppy. I am not aware of my new car. Even I am not aware of my dear one. I am unaware of everything. That is why I am happy. That state, deep sleep state, proves something. When you don't have the identity of duality, you are happy. Everybody comes out of the sleep making one statement. I slept very happy. I'm very happy to have a sleep for 4 hours or 8 hours, That shows that without wife, without parents, without your puppy, without your children, still you are happy because your nature is happy. In order to become happy, you don't need anything. Mere sleep only make you to know that you are the embodiment of happiness. That's all. But you are not completely aware of that. In the waking state, you have doubts. If I am the embodiment of happiness, why I am not happy when I am in the waking state? So that doubts are being cleared in the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. We are going to see more and more. Every time when I open the class, I would like to glorify Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. That's why a few minutes I take to repeat Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad is one among other Upanishads, and Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad talks about the word Om. Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad reveals the reality of waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. We already passed the whole text of Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, and we already saw one section of Māṇḍūkya kārikā, which is called Agama Prakaranam. Everything is available in social media or net, okay? Even in Google. What is Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad? If you want to see again, you can go to Google, no problem. And our classes are also there in the YouTube. Fine. So, Agama Prakaranam, 28 verses based on the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, we already completed. And we are in the second section of kārikā. Kārikā is a text written by one of the greatest teacher called Gaudapada Acharya. He was brilliant. He was a scientist like brain. What scientists have, that brain he was having to analyze everything. And he is also a traditional teacher who taught people under him. He wrote a text based on Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. And it became very famous to study in the tradition. That's why I also making you to know what is Māṇḍūkya kārikā. After the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad, we will go through the kārikā. And we are going through the kārikā. In the kārikā, we are in the second section. Vaithatya Prakaranam. A section which talks about the error happened for a human being. An universal error. It's not for only for few. It's universal. Everybody is following this error. What is this error? The very word Vaidhatya means having the status of error. And in this section, we also proves that by logic or reasoning, there is an error for every human being. In order to pursue that, they are a body and they enjoy, when they enjoy the worldly things, when they have that body consciousness, it means that they are having an error. What is meant by error? Simple way of understanding. Taking something other than what it is called error. Suppose there is a pencil right in front of you. You see as a stick. Actually, it is a pencil to write. This is an error, a stick. Suppose there is another thing which is used for cleaning the floor, but you think it is something other than that. I'm giving some general things in your life so that error means what? You can easily grasp. In our common life, we used to commit some mistakes. Somebody is coming from very far and you can see with your eyes and you think that, oh, this is a person who is very familiar with me. And you utter his name also to your nearest friend who is sitting near to you. But when the person reaches to you, when the person reaches, or which you are thinking, this is called error. You know, taking something what it is, realizing something other than what it is. Shankara has given a very famous example. Taking the rope into a snake. In reality, in the waking state, it's a rope. But in a dark room, it is been there in your path and you stepped upon it. And you assume that it is a snake which has stepped on. Because it is dark, this is called error. Now you know what is error properly, other than English word. Taking something other than what it is. Atasmin tad buddhi. Now, Gaudapada Acharya proves by reasoning, by logical way of making understanding, logical way, that we are having an error to think I am a human being. That error is being eradicated, eliminated by reasoning. See, when I say logic or reasoning, mere logic will not help us. You should have the logic in tune with the Vedic text or Upanishad. Shruti matas tarka anusandhiyada. If you ask everything logic, I cannot prove. You believe, so for example, some people who are non-believers of God, they ask me, can you prove there is God in front of you? If I say, yes, I have a Lord in front of me, then they will say, show the Lord like us. I am seeing you. Similarly, I want to see the Lord in front of me. I cannot prove logically. Because they believe that whatever they perceive with their eyes, that only they will believe. It's not very easy to prove everything logical. And don't think that without proving logically, I don't believe anything. It's not easy. I don't see the vital air. So I don't believe in the vital air. If you say like that, then what air you are breathing? So everything should not be proved logically. We cannot prove everything logically in this world. So mere reasoning or mere logical proving will not help anybody. If your mind is already modified into a logical personality, sometimes it will be completely upset in your life. Everything should not be proved logically. So logic along with the Upanishadic text, the verses of or the sentences from the Shruti and the logic. That is why Shruti matas tarkanu sandhiyana. Just mere logic, like the non-believers of God, nihilists. They say that without seeing the Lord right in front of us, I don't believe the Lord, which is not possible. So believing this type of logics will not help somebody to grow. And we are all familiar to logically to live in the life. So every time logic will not help. There are places where logic cannot go. And we are going to prove mere logic will not help the person to reach the goal. I am talking with the people who can think beyond the nose, who are sitting in my class, means they are extraordinary people. That is why I go deep. If I want to take a class with a floating idea, just go on the top of touching and go away. That's not the way I want. I am talking with intelligent people who are sitting in my class. So I treat them, they can understand more than me. That's why I go a bit deep sometimes. Now you understood properly, mere logic is not the way of acharyas or traditional teachers to prove the Lord or to prove the text. They take the support of the sentences of the Upanishads and they prove logically. Both are having the role in proving that dream state and waking state are an error, an illusion. So vidhata, an error, human being, I am a human being is an error. And all other experiences are also errors. For example, dream state is an error. If we prove the dream state, it's very easy to prove deep sleep state, the waking state is also an error. We already saw that. In the first and second verses of this Vithata Vaidhatya Prakaranam, what we saw, those objects appearing in the dream state never existed inside the body or the nervous inside the body, because they are much bigger than what I assume or what I saw in the dream. An elephant cannot exist inside the body. An elephant cannot exist inside my nervous. And also, the time or the gap or the duration, the traveling of the time or the duration, if I saw a dream which happening in London, I cannot go to the London and come back and sleep in the same bed when I wake up in the morning. That time duration is also a mistake. And the existence of the objects which I perceived in the dream is also a mistake. Thus, dream state or dream is an error or mistake. We already proved in the first and second verses of this section. Now I already explained the third verse. Still I will read and I will explain. Abhavascharathadinam shruyate nyaya purvakam vaidhatyam tena vai praptam supne ahu prakashitam. Once more I read. Abhavascharathadinam shruyate nyaya purvakam vaidhatyam tena vai praptam supne ahu prakashitam. There is a verse in another Upanishad. The name of the Upanishad is Brihadaranyakam. When we are studying Māṇḍūkyam, few lines picked up by Adi Shankara or Gaudapada Acharya, the teacher picked up some sentences from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and those sentences says that the gist is that the objects perceived in the dream are not existing at all inside the body, or if you analyze in the waking state after the dream, when you wake up and you go and see there, you will not see those things which you perceived in the dream state. Both way, remember, both way. You didn't have all the objects inside the body. You didn't have the objects externally in the body. If you go and analyze this place, you will never see those objects externally. Already we saw in the last class, you may see a person in London, and that person also wishes you. Next day, you call that person who is living in London, and you ask, did I meet you yesterday? That person will not, the person will say, oh, I didn't meet you yesterday. No, in the dream, you ask, you came in my dream and we meet. No, I didn't come anywhere apart from London. You are in India. I don't know what you are saying about. That means that person don't have Any idea about the dream, what you saw? So, both you are not there in London, those people never identified you in London, and also all the things what you perceived in the dream never existed inside your body. All these things shows that dream state is an error. Now, it is being confirmed by another Upanishad, and also it is very much logical. Abhavascharathadinam, non-existence of chariot, etc., which we perceived in the dream. Shruyade is heard from another Upanishad. Nyaya Purvakam, and it is logical also. By the reasoning. Nyaya Purvakam. Through reasoning, by the Vedic text Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, it proves that there is no such things called chariot, etc., which we saw in the dream, never existed inside the body, or neither inside the body nor externally. Vaidhatyam tena vai praptam. So, the status of error is there for the dream. Vaidhatyam. Vaidhatyam means the status of having some error. It is mere illusion. It is an error. Dream state is an error. And Swapne Ahu, the wise used to say, who can think beyond the nose, and with the support of the Shruti, people used to say, the wise people used to say, Swapnam, the dream state, is an error. And it is been shown by the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Not by only the Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also shows that there is an error regarding the dream state. When the dream state itself is an error, what to talk about the things which are occurring in the dream state? Both. The things also is an error. The dream state is also an error. This has been proved by the help of logic. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that the dream state is illusion. And wise people approves that. Wise people approve that it is an error. Because the Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, quotes certain sentences, and those sentences are from the dream state, and those sentences have the meaning that what are the things perceived in the Upanishad, in the dream state, are non-existent because they cannot be inside the body, they cannot be exist externally from the body, so that it is illogical, it is an error that dream state is, and also this is being told or approved by the wise people, intelligent people, because Brihadaranyaka Upanishad shows something logically. This is the meaning of this verse. I already mentioned you in the last class about this meaning. Still I mentioned. Now, 3-4 sentences of Adi Shankara regarding this verse is there. I will read and give you the meaning. Abhavascha rathadinam swapnadrishyanam shruyade nyayapurvakam yuktitaha shrutau na tatra rathaha. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, a sentence starts by like this: Na tatra rathaha. There is no chariots. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, 4th chapter, 3rd section, 10th verse. This is the exact position of this verse. And Nyaya Purvakam, by reasoning of the Upanishad, that dream state is an error. Dehantaha sthana samvritvad heduna. Dehantam means inside the body. Very limited. We have very limited body. Anything cannot live inside the body except some worms. They are a big problem, Parasites. When you eat uncooked meat, when you eat raw vegetables, when you don't take care of properly your stomach, the worms decide to take your body and they are ruling your body. They will ask you to bring some chocolate. Then you feel to eat some chocolate. They ask you to bring some uncooked meat, half-cooked meat. Then they will start. And you will have a craze for eating some meat. So all these things will make you to leave the parasites inside your body. Remember, anything can be eradicated, taken from your body. If you don't have any idea to take there in your country, you please come to India and contact me. There are people who can take care of your body, and they will make you free from all kinds of parasites and other issues. Those listeners of my class are my children, actually, according to tradition. Their problem is my problem also. Whenever there is a need of anything, where you are helpless regarding your health or any other thing, just give a message. We will find out solution. So just I am telling about the people who are residing inside the body, parasites, worms. They can be taken care of by the medicines, Ayurvedic medicines or some other medicines. Fine. Now we are talking about the objects of the dream state. Here it is told in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad and another Upanishad like Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad that anything which is in the dream state is untrue because they never existed inside the body, because body have a limited space to accommodate everything inside the body. Vaidatyam, that is the main reason. Tad anuvadinya shrutya, being taken by the Shruti, swapne in the dream, swayam jyotishta pradipadana paraya. Swayam jyotishta pradipadana paraya. Illumination of the self. Dream occurs due to the ever-existing self. This is also been Swayam Jyotishta. Jyotishta means self-effulgent. The self, which is called the truth, Satyam, knowledge, Jnanam, Anantam, unlimited happiness. This is my intrinsic nature. Why you should worry about husband or your wife? You are unlimited consciousness. The body have a name so that you have a connection with a husband or wife. Let them live a life. If they don't want you, you also don't want. Because people are worried about all the connections regarding boyfriend, girlfriend, children. So much insecurity. That is why Vedanta helps them. Vedanta talks about the reality of the personality. You are the truth. Never die. Never subject to birth. Amritam. Na jayate na mriyade. Satyam. What is meant by truth? Never varies according to the time or place. It will be always permanent. Even after 100 years, this truth, the consciousness will survive forever. It will not get varied. Always in the same position. Always. Eternal truth. This is the real position of one's own self. This is the intrinsic nature. Self-effulgent it is. It will not depend upon something to be sentient. Like the light inside your house, in order to become sentient, there should be some electricity to pass through that. This is called, it is not self-effulgent, it is depending on somebody in order to become sentient. Even the body is insentient, inert. An inert body can only perform all kinds of activities due to the presence of this consciousness. And for this inert body, how much you suffer? You want to seek approval of your wife, you want to seek approval of your husband, you want to seek approval of the society, and you don't do certain things in your life. You are so much insecure regarding this body. I will get some defame. I will lose my name. I want to hide what I am doing, even the religious studies. Insecurity is there everywhere. Being an insecure person, it's not very easy to success in one's own life. Don't be insecure, even the diseases attacks you. Diseases are under control of yourself. If you say, I am going to survive, means diseases has to go back. Diseases have to return. If somebody is hurting you, I will not get hurt by this person. I am strong enough. I am not this body. I am not these organs. Say yourself, because it is your real nature. That is why here the word Swayam Pratishtha, self-illuminous, self-effulgence. The dream has one role to play. Dream can only happen because of the self being illuminous. You are illuminous. That's why dream happens. Dream is there due to the presence of the consciousness. In dream, a lot of activities are going on. All the activities are happening due to the presence of the consciousness. Because in the waking state, if I say this statement, because of the self-existence or the self-effulgence of the self, the waking state is going. The waking state continues. Then you say, due to the presence of the organ only, I can eat, I can walk, I can talk, I can do the things in my house. How can I imagine a consciousness behind that? All the activities are occurring due to my presence of the organs. When the organs are there right in front of me, why should I believe in the consciousness? I don't believe this sentence. Due to the presence of the consciousness, everything happened. But in the dream state, your sense organs are inert. They are not working. They just stay quietly in your bed. Your hands, your legs, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue, your teeth. Without of their working, you reach London. Without walking, you reach America. Without talking to somebody, you speak in the dream state. Why? Because of the presence of the consciousness. Consciousness being there, you are able to see the dream. So, Swayam Jyotishtham, that very word. Swayam Jyotishta Pradipadana Paraya. The dream state proves that there is a self-effulgence or consciousness which is sentient, which is independent, is the base of the body, so that a person is possible to see the dream. Thus, I can see a dream because of the presence of the consciousness. If I say you in the waking state, you can do the things because of the presence of the consciousness, means you will deny. Because of my organs of the body, I do certain things in the waking state. But in the dream state, your own organs stay quiet in the bed, but you are able to walk, you are able to travel, you are able to talk. And you see as though it is real. So dream state seems to be real due to the presence of the self-effulgent self. We say for the self in Sanskrit, Atma or Brahma. These are the two words. Never forget that because of the presence of the self-effulgent Atman, I am able to see the dream. So dream has a role to play. That means logically, dream can only be possible due to the presence of the consciousness in the mind. All other sense organs are just relaxing. That is why in the Bhashya, Swayam Jyotishta Pradipadana Paraya Prakashitam Ahuhu Brahmavitaha Shruti says, that is, there is an error in this dream, because the things which I perceive in the dream is not possible to reside inside the body. And also, because of the consciousness which is eternal being there, I can see the dream. Swayam Jyotishtam, self-effulgent. I am self-effulgent. And when my mind is working and all other sense organs are resting, the dream occurs. That itself shows that there is a self-effulgent self behind every drama, what we saw in the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep state. Brahmavidaha, the wise people says that already it is proved by the Shruti with the reasoning or logic, with the help of logic, that dream state is an error. And that error can only possible due to the presence of the consciousness behind all the things happened in the dream. All these things proves that dream state is an error. When we are ready up to this, we are going to prove that waking state is an error. This is what I need, because I think always waking state is real. Somebody made me to go down. Somebody condemned me. Somebody made me shame. They put me down. And I am depressed. I am under depression. Somebody don't want me. So I think that I am useless in this world. Everything happens in the waking state. So in the waking state, I am always insecure. I am always unhappy. I am always having lot of worries. All these things are there in the waking state other than happiness. Happiness is not a problem in the waking state. But all the sorrows and the pain of the waking state, I think that it's all true. So here, waking state is going to be proved as an error now. We will go to the next verse and we will see waking state is whether, what is the time? Let me see. We have 10 minutes. Okay. Waking state is also an error. With the support of the dream, we are going to see waking state is also an error in the next verse. I will read the verse and I'll give you the meaning. Just listen. Waking state should be denied. Then only the insecurity will go. Waking state is like a magic of a magician. If the waking state is an error, I need not to give any seriousness to the waking state. If somebody left you, I don't want you anymore in your life, you are very happy. It's okay. Because waking state is a magic. In the magic, anything can happen. If somebody is hurting you, it's a magic. It's a fake. It's an error. Waking state itself is an error. What about the experiences happening in the waking state? One is very much easy. One can be easily confirmed. It can easily decide that waking state is an error. Then all the experiences is also an error only. This is what we need to become bold in the waking state. I don't need anybody's support because waking state need a lot of support. I need the support of the bank to make my home. I need the support of my friend to get some money. I need the support of the medicines to recover my body. I need the support of the things which are my essential part of my lifestyle. I need a bike. I need a car. I need a good food. I need a good cloth. I am depending on different things. When you assume they are all essential part of the waking state, you are in trouble. Suppose if you confirm, if you get assimilated the fact that waking state is an error, they will become useless for you. In spite of the food, I can survive because waking state itself is an error. In spite of the car, I can live. People may be thinking when a car is there in your house only, you will get honored. But waking state itself is an error. Waking state being an error. What is the point of holding towards the things and I will get honored in front of the people in the waking state? Waking state itself is an error. What to talk about the honor and everything? It is also an error. Sorrow is also an error. Pain is also an error. Suppose somebody condemned you, it's an error. Somebody criticized you, it's an error. Why? Waking state itself is an error. What is the experience also? Experience also an error. I need not to worry when there is an error. The fact is that you are unlimited, self-effulgent, the origin of happiness. You are the Brahman, you are the self. These three states, the very word state itself shows that it is limited. What is meant by state? State means something start at a point, starting point, and something will end in a point. This is called state. We don't need states. We are interested in the permanent. State is something impermanent. Like our teenage is a state. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This is called teenage, or 14 or 13 also you can include. From 20 onwards, you are not a teenager. So teenage is a state which have a starting point which have a point of end. I am not interested in those things. When you assimilate that waking state is an error, you will not try to get everybody's approval. You will not seek everybody's approval. Whether your mother approves, whether your father approves, whether your uncle approves, it's not a problem. If somebody tried to disapprove me, it's even that's not also a problem. Waking state becoming an error, it will help the person to stand bold and straight, looking forward straightly. You will never have fear anymore in your life. Any animal will not be a problem in your life. Even a cockroach is an error in the waking state. They will not do anything. Any animal which is a fearsome for you, a factor of fear for you, it will not be a problem after if you assume that waking state is an error. This is why Māṇḍūkya Upaniṣad becomes so important. To come out of all kinds of insecurity, to come out of all kinds of fear, to come out of even seeking approval of your people who are on your top in a company or a factory. You don't consider anybody in this world. When the waking state itself is an error, what to talk about the majority who is electing somebody, the majority making somebody to fail. Any incident is not something going to change your mindset. You see something error is happening in the world. A mistake. An error means that never happened. An error is an idea which is confirmed by me without knowing the truth. So waking state is an error. Body itself is an error. What to talk about those states happening towards the body. But the waking state have deep-rooted in me. Because in the waking state, I am rich. In the waking state, I become poor. Then I am ashamed in front of the people. In the waking state, I have a disease. In the waking state, I have a lot of problems. All these things are taken by me as a truth. There the Upanishad comes and tells that it's an error. Disease is an error. When this is the fact, because of my deep-rooted thoughts, I think diseases has made me to go down and down more. Everything is making me more illegitimate, very small in this world. Even if your failure is an error, even if your success is an error, waking state itself is an error. It's going to be proved in the coming verse onwards. Because dream state is an error, all the logic can be approved into the waking state also. We will start. Just we will see the meaning and we will go through some sentences of the Bhashya in the next class. This is the meaning, fourth verse of the with Vaithatyam Prakaranam. Andasthanatu vedanam tasmad jagarite smritam yatha tatra tatha supne samvridatvena vidyate. Just we will see their meaning and we will see more in the next class. Once more I will read. Andasthanatu vedanam tasmad jagarite smritam yatha tatra tatha supne samvridatvena vidyate. Andasthana, limited space inside the body, is a defect of dream. To prove it's an error. Because an elephant cannot exist in this small body. Whenever there is a dream, you cannot take the elephant. Andasthanatu Vedanam. The limited space in the body is one of the cause to prove that dream state is an error. Tasmad jagaride smridam. The same logic can apply to the waking state. For example, you assume your friend will be there after 2 kilometers or in that place or in that hotel. You go and see. You will not see that friend. Like in the dream, you imagine certain things and it is not there in the waking state. Similarly, in the waking state, you imagine certain things. In that park where I used to meet, he will be sitting, my friend. I will go and have some time with him. If you go there, your friend will not be there. Your imagination is wrong in the waking state. And it is illogical. Even though it happened many times, you have sit with your boyfriend in the park. A lot of time you have spent with him. Now, if you think he will be sitting there, I will go there, we can spend some time. The imagination itself become wrong. If you go there in the park, he will not be there. One reason, simple reason. From the simple reason, I am going to take to the biggest reason. In the waking state, you say forest. Can you show where is the forest? This group of trees are called forest. Then the forest word will result into the group of trees. So trees are called forest. So waking state goes from one to another thing. I will talk about more the waking state, the error and the defects of the waking state, which will help more and more to avoid all the ups and downs of waking state by holding that it is an error. Okay. And Tasmad jagaride sthidam. The whole logic and ideas are also applied in the waking state also. Yatha tatra, where in the waking, how the things appears in the waking state are much less similar to the objects appearing in the dream state. They are also having in the limited space. In the dream state, they are also having some limitations. They appear in the limited, they cannot be exist in the limited space. Similarly, the waking objects which I perceive in the waking state is also not possible to exist at any point of time. They appear for a limited space in the limited time. I'm going to talk about more. For the time being, I just introduce this verse. The gist of the verse is that the logic and the reasoning, what we applied to the dream state, can also possible to extend towards the waking state. Their existence is also not possible every time till the world ends. It will also disappear after a period of time, like in the dream state. Dream state have only 10 minutes. It may occur for 10 years. That's all. Lot of logics are there, and we are going to discuss more in the next class about the waking state, that it is an error, a biggest turning point of one's own life. If the waking state is an error, it's very easy to become a fearsome person, because you need not worry about the snake which has happened from the hat of the magician, because it's a fake snake. Similarly, anything happening in the waking state become an error. It's not true. Why should I worry about untruth things? We will become a fearsome without a person who is not fear at all towards anything happening in the world. We are going to see more in the next class. Om Susti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshadu Parjanyah Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Choparahitaha Brahmana Santu Narbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om